Hey, it's Wes Stearns. Today I want to talk to you about seller's post-occupancy, also known as rentbacks. Why do we do rentbacks? So imagine if you're a seller and you want to move and you're not sure where you're going to go. So you want to make sure you have enough time to sell your house and then go buy something. Well, the market's crazy right now. So you as the seller, imagine if you haven't sold your house yet and you wanted to go look at the properties you found online. And you go to look at those properties and you say, oh, I found the one, I want to put an offer in to buy it. The market's such that that seller of the place you want to buy may not be interested in waiting for you to put your house on the market to buy it, to buy their property. That's called a home sale contingency with a kick out. So now what do? Well, it's a race. The house that you want to buy is still in the market. You need to get your house on the market and try to get it under contract and close before the other one goes under contract. So there's some creative ways. We'll do other videos in the future talking about bridge loans, which is an advancement of your equity in your current house in order to qualify for your purchase. So let's say that they just said no. They're not willing to wait for you to sell your house to buy the one that you want. And at this time, you're not risk adverse or interested in getting an advancement, a bridge loan. Okay, so what you can do, you can still sell your house because the market's crazy. You're going to get top dollar. An offer comes in, someone wants to close in 45 days. You at that time can negotiate in the contract a rent back. As a seller, the great thing with doing a rent back is it gives you time to find a house. So you go to settlement, and usually within 48 hours of going to settlement, you'll have money in your hand. And maybe while your house is under contract, you can go out and you have a little bit more buying power with other homes, because the home that you pick out, you don't have to say you need to sell it. You can then at that point say, hey, we already have our house in the market. It's already under contract. We've gotten rid of all the contingencies. Please consider the offer. Hopefully the seller of the house you want will consider that. But if not, you can rent back up to 60 days. So make sure your agent during that negotiation says, hey, we have a settlement date in 45 days. And my seller has the option to rent back the property 60 days beyond that. And typically the rent back usually covers the buyer's mortgage cost. That's calculated by the mortgage company for the buyer. So your realtor can give you an estimate based on the offer, the amount they're financing, what the mortgage cost is going to be, so you can go into that. But that's a great opportunity to give you more time to identify a house and not be rushed to make sure you can find the right house. With that, you can also have an option to maybe terminate that 60-day rent back period with a 3-day notice. So let's say you got a 45-day closing, you have an option to rent 60 days, and you found a place during that period, and you're only going to need to use 30 of those 60 days for rent back. You can have a written notice from you through your agent to the other agent saying, hey, we're only going to use 30 days, and you would get refunded the unused portion of that 60-day rent back. By also using the rent back, you're going to avoid moving twice. If you can imagine moving your stuff out of a house into a storage facility, then have the moving company reload it, and then back to the other house, that's a lot of overhandling of your fancy furniture or your belongings, and there's a lot of cost to do that. So rent back will save you from moving twice. You also have your money in hand. It's a great thing to have all that cash, usually within a couple days of closing. And then one other note, you as the seller during that rent back, you are responsible for the utilities of the property and the maintenance. You don't get to hide if all of a sudden there's a roof leak. That's still on you as the seller. Same thing with the air conditioner or anything that could go astray during the maintenance. Sure, the buyer probably did a home inspection. They know what they're getting, but if anything breaks during that rent back, the seller, you're in there, you have to fix it at your cost. The buyer, why would a buyer be interested in doing the rent back? Well, it's so competitive. Arlington, Fairfax, their property is getting 15 to 20 offers. You as the buyer with your agent should probably say, look, we know that the seller hasn't found a place. Maybe you throw that on the table. Hey, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, we love your house. We'd like to close in 30 days, and we'll give you the option to stay back for 60 days if you like at our mortgage cost, or we'll give you a month free and let you pay us for a month. You can use that as a bargaining chip so that you are the most attractive offer they have on the table. I've done that all the time where we've given a partial free rent back. If the seller is going to pay your mortgage cost, that's great, because it's usually 9 out of 10 times that mortgage cost for that rent back period is collected at settlement. All right, so you'll get a credit for whatever your mortgage costs, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for that period. That's less money you have to come up with settlement. And if you close, like let's say you close at the last date of November, your first mortgage payment won't be until January 1st. So you usually skip the first full month before your mortgage payment is. So it's good to get that credit for the rent back at closing. It makes it less for you necessary to close. The seller is going to handle the utilities and maintenance as mentioned before, so you don't have to worry about that. Then you're going to do 2 walkthroughs. You're going to do a walkthrough right before settlement to check the house. You're going to take pictures, note any deficiencies, check the items if there was a home inspection that the seller agreed to fix as a result of the home inspection negotiation. Once the seller has notified you that they're out of the property, you'll go by and do a second walkthrough. And typically at settlement there's a security deposit held by the title company, because legally as of the date of settlement you as the buyer are now a landlord and the seller is now a tenant. So these are some of the great reasons and opportunities that could be a win-win for a buyer and seller with rentbacks. Please subscribe and send me any questions. Thank you.